How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thank you for stopping by. My name is Dylan, and today we're going to be taking a look at my Azusa Lost but Seeking deck list. The theme of this deck, as with all my others, is to play fun games with mean cards. With that being said, let's get into it. So the main goal of this deck is to utilize Azusa's main ability to, well, only ability I should say, to outvalue our opponents and make sure we have a ton of mana by like turn 4, maybe? Like, the dream hand for this deck would be 5 lands, a Mana Crypt, and a Crucible of Worlds. One of the lands would be an Evolving Wilds, so we can get, or a Terramorphic Expanse, get Azusa out, play the Crucible, find a bunch of basics, as well as the lands in our hand, and just, yeah. There's 44 lands in the deck, and we want a lot in our opening hand. Now, we don't exclusively rely on Azusa's ability, because guess what? Dice to removal, right? We got things like Exploration, Wayward Swordtooth, Dryad, and Oracle of Moldiah, all of which allow us to play an additional land on each of our turns, and then sometimes to make sure I don't completely dump my hand, I like to throw in a Horn of Greed. Unfortunately, it's not named Pot of Greed for the memes, but oh well. Basically, whenever a player plays a card, that player draws a card. It gives our opponents some advantage, but we get a lot, and I mean a lot of value from this. And then, of course, let's just assume we can't get Azusa out early on turn 1. Any of these three really help out getting her out on turn 2. It's no big deal. When she's out, and with our hand hopefully containing 5 lands at least, we can get lots of value. Next up, let's go into a way that lands interact with each other. Well, pieces on the board. So, Crucible of Worlds, Strip Mine, and or Ramen Up Excavator. If you're able to get either of these two out, and Azusa on turn 1, what happens is it creates a board lock. So it would be Lotus, Mana Crypt, Forest if you're going for the Ramen Up Excavator, or just any 3 lands. No. You would need a Mana Crypt, a Strip Mine, Lotus, Crucible or Ramen Up, and some other forest or something like that, so you can get the 3 mana, right? What happens is you don't use the Strip Mine for the mana on one of your opponent's end steps. You crack the Strip Mine, blow up someone's land, get to your turn, Strip Mine, second land, third time, third opponent's land. And then, with that left over, you can play your land. That's the only board lock in this game. And now we just have some fun little interactions between cards. Field of the Dead and Ashaya interact the very way you think about it. Ashaya turns all of your non-token creatures into lands. Field of the Dead creates zombies when you control 6 or more lands with different names. In Commander, you can't have any cards with the same name unless you have a card that says otherwise, but yeah, just getting a few creatures out, and all of a sudden having a bunch of zombies come with it, it's like 2 for the price of 1, and I like that. Up next we got Dark Depths and Vesuva or Thespian Stage. What happens is Dark Depths comes in with 10 counters on it. You play one of these two after it, preferably Vesuva, because Thespian Stage costs to become a copy of it. Vesuva comes in as a copy of Dark Depths. Dark Depths is a legendary land, so you sacrifice this to the legendary rule. Vesuva is Dark Depths. It doesn't have counters on it, though, so you immediately get a 20/20 Merit Lage, or something like that. And then the same thing happens for Thespian Stage. You just got to pay 2 and tap it to create that token. And those are just some of the utility lands in here. The other ones that I have in here that are my absolute favorites are Maze of Ith, Homeward Path, Besiju, Evolving Wilds because of the Crucible of Worlds, Eye of Ugin, and Nykthos. So, Evolving Wilds, you play it early with Crucible of Worlds, you get a ton of mana. These are, real quick, these are just some of the utility lands, not all of them. I don't really want to get into all of them because, you know, it's kind of redundant. But anyway, Boseiju, it makes your instant and sorceries uncounterable if you use the 1 mana from it to cast one of those. Homeward Path, if someone takes control of Azusa, what you can do is tap it and regain control of it. I very much like that ability because I know someone who runs Gilded Drake, Treachery, and many other take control spells in his decks, so very good utility land for my play group. We got Maze of Ith. It's a great way of, you know, being like, hey, no. You want to swing a 20/20 at me? No. It's a fun little threat over our opponents. I have Ugin. It decreases our Eldrazi spells by 2, which, hey, we're in green, but we also like being efficient with our mana, you know? And for 7 and tapping it, we can also tutor up any Eldrazi, so that's very nice. And finally, for Nykthos, for 2 mana, it adds mana of any color equal to our devotion to it. In this case, it's going to be green. And, well, yes, if we're left unchecked, we can generate a ton of mana through that. So I remember we talked about early game ramp if we don't have Azusa on the field, right? But let's talk about later game, well, probably like turn 5 or 6, depending on our hand. Let's talk about that kind of ramp or big mana, because, you know, you can never be too greedy with mana in green, right? So, I mean, let's just start off with the cheapies, right? Sylvala and Omnath, you know, you don't lose green mana in your phases, and then Sylvala creates X mana, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. I absolutely love that, but let's say we get to, like, turn 5, right? A few things that we would like to have on the field are Nyxbloom Ancient, Vorinclex, or even Mana Reflection, you know, because we like making plays, you know, we like doubling up our mana, maybe multiplying our mana by 6, maybe multiplying our mana by 12, if I'm doing that right, or, no, 7, because it just adds 1 mana. Yeah, that's how it works. And then Mana Reflection, again, it's just, they're all beautiful plays, and let's not forget about Vorinclex's second ability. Opponent taps a land for mana, guess what? It's not going to untap during your next untap step. I quite like it. Excuse me. We also got the Great Henge here just because, you know, creatures entering gives us life, gives us counters on them, and it also is just a pretty good card to have in general. Finally, let's just get into some of the big plays that we make with all the cards, with all the big stuff we've gotten here. So first off, we've got our Eldrazi Titans, Ulamog, Kozilek, where are you at? Blightsteel, Ulamog, and then, oh there she is, Emrakul. Kozilek is my favorite way to refill my hand. Ulamog is Ulamog. Blightsteel is Infect. I know I'm a horrible person for playing it. Emrakul is just a great way to ruin someone's game. What I especially love about these is all of them are these 5 in particular are cast triggers. So you cast these spells, this top part, these parts are happening. So you're gonna draw 4 cards, draw up to 7, take control of someone during their land, and or exile 2 target permanents. They're quite beautiful, you know. And then Blightsteel, it doesn't really have a cast trigger, but at the same time, it's a freaking 11/11 with Trample and Infect, so, you know, it kind of gets the job done. Let's see. If we're not going to do that, something that we can get a lot of value from is an Avenger of Zendikar. Just be like, haha, I'm in danger. Well, you're in danger, not me. I have a lot of plant tokens. Finale of Devastation is a good game-ending card. Apex Devastator makes the table go, shoot. Reshape the Earth is just a fun little way to get lands on the battlefield. There's nothing quite like seeing your opponents be like, oh no, what lands are you going to get in that deck? Because I know you don't just run basics in there. And then finally we got Genesis Wave. Funny story about this card, right? I straight up told, so we were playing a game, right? I had Oracle of Moldiah on the field, so I have to play with the top card of my library revealed. I may or may not have dropped my hand, which contained Blightsteel and Conduit of Ruin. So they knew it was in my hand, and they also knew what was at the top of my library. I was being honest. I was telling them, hey, you might want to make me discard my hand. But one of my friends came over, they were taking a look at the board, and they were like, huh, you know, yeah, you probably shouldn't make him discard his hand. What is he going to do with that? He doesn't have any cards in his hand. I had two cards in my hand. They knew what they were, too. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to tell him, hey, I am the definite threat. You need to do what you have to do, right? And he's like, no. I say you just got to let him play it through. And they're like, all right, I'm not going to make you discard your hand, right? So we go to my turn. Untap, upkeep, draw, reveal the top card of our library, which is a Kozilek. And then my friend that was politicking for me, he just tells me, hey, you see this Genesis Wave? Just load it up with all the mana you got. This was turn 6 or 7. I had, I want to say I had 16 or 17 mana available to me. So, this guy hits the field. Let's see. Where is it at? This guy also hit... No. Yeah, that guy and this guy. These all three hit the field, as well as a few like Mind's Eye and stuff like that. But, oh my gosh, that was the most unfortunate Genesis Wave I have ever seen my opponents go through. The great thing is I didn't get the cast triggers. I just felt so bad, though. But at the same time, it's like casual games, mean cards. You can't forget No. We just gotta remember, this is Magic the way Richard Garfield intended. Fair, honest, and perfectly balanced. Like, case in point, a Genesis Wave, you have turn 7 Ulamogs and Kozileks, right? Real quick, I know I had 16 mana, but Genesis Wave has 3 green as part of the cost. We didn't play the top 16. It was 13 cards that we revealed. I was just fairly certain if I didn't mention that, someone in the comments, or no. People in the comments are going to be like, hey, you played this wrong. This is how it's actually supposed to... It's like, I know. We did play it the right way. So yeah, that's my Azusa deck for you. I don't believe that to be my meanest deck. I still think that goes to Tuvasa, because ever since the video I made about her, I've made some upgrades, which, yeah. I always have to end these with a funny story. So I was playing against my friend's Blim deck, right? He hits me with Blim, and he has a permanent on the field that says, at the beginning of each end step, discard your hand, and then there's something else to it. I don't remember. That was the important part, though, right? He gives me said permanent, and at his end step, I have to discard an Omnath, a Vorinclex, and a Kozilek. He was like, all right, at first I felt bad for giving it to you, but at the same time, now I am so glad I did. And I'm like, dude, I do not blame you. But, yeah, that's about it for me. Thank you all for stopping by. If you're new here, if you liked what you saw, you might want to consider subscribing. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You do you. Yeah. If you liked what you saw, maybe drop a like button. Kind of helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And I think that's it. Wait. No. We do have a tournament going on in the Discord. Right now it's set for the 1st of September. I might actually have to end up scooching that day back a bit, just because of school, work, and all that other good stuff. But yeah, I'll keep you all posted on that. Yep, I believe that's it from me. So, till next time, y'all.